everyone. I want to begin by thanking Governor Granholm for inviting me here to have an opportunity to see this incident, to see this spill, to see this creek, this river, this lake, and to give my personal assurance, not only to her, but to the people around the lake and the people of Michigan, that EPA sees this as a serious spill and understands and will be here with whatever it takes, as the Senator said, to ensure that the company first lives up to its responsibility to clean it up, that it has the resources, that it is overseen as it does its job to ensure that it does it in a way that's protective of human health, that minimizes the impact to the natural environment, because there are certainly impacts now. Please know that this is something that we will continue to prioritize. We have a significant number of staff on site, but we will be adding not only to our on-site staff, but to the experts, the samplers, the vacuum truck operators. We have experts who are actually consulting on best places to lay boom and other strategies eventually for shoreline cleanup and remediation to ensure that we do this work in the most effective way possible. Now, a couple of things. You heard already that the mobilization phase is still ongoing, and there are absolutely phases and locations of the work. You heard Senator Stabenow mention source control. That is and was a large concern yesterday and today, and I do believe, after having flown over it, that our joint assessment is that there is significant activity going on to assess what's going on right at the site of the leak. That pipe has not yet been exposed to ensure its full integrity, but one of the concerns is, if you see it, it is a significantly oil-laden area, and it needs real attention. It can become a source of multiple releases if we're not careful. I feel good about the fact that it's been burned in several places. There's a boom around it. There are vacuum trucks. There are 4 there. There'll be 8 there tomorrow to try to remove as much of the remaining source material as possible. Then we'll go to the next phase, which is to start to try to corral the oil that's on the river, on the Kalamazoo, and bring those to places where there are natural collection places in any river. You make advantage of the current, and you find places where you can skim and or vacuum up oil in those collection places. So you'll see boom on that river. Our goal was approximately to get at least enough boom out there to boom it at every mile, but we're not using mile markers or half mile or quarter mile. The idea is to get what you need, because you need to find the ways to make the river and the current work with you to send that oil, and it'll float over to places where you can then take it out of the system. Some amount of oil will also evaporate, and as oil thins out, and it does evaporate, although a sheen is never great to see. A rainbow sheen is actually one of the thinnest sheens you can have, and if it's warm enough, that rainbow sheen will evaporate. But with evaporation comes vapor, continued vapor. We certainly could smell it from the chopper today. So again, kudos to the county and state health staff who've been there from the very beginning, ensuring safety of air, moving people, mainly for precautionary purposes, from a health perspective, and insisting on a supply of alternate drinking water for people who drink well water. We'll continue to work with them to support their needs to be precautionary, but I can't emphasize enough, you can smell oil at a level that's generally much lower in parts per billion than what an acute health threat would be. And some people are much more sensitive to volatiles than others. And so if you smell it, especially for your children, as a mother, I would say please keep them inside. If keeping them inside where there's air conditioned or conditioned air is a problem, then obviously if you have a place where they can go and be outside, we just don't necessarily want them outside, especially in the warmth of the day when it might really more irritate them than harm them. But we should be precautionary. We're going to continue to do air sampling. And we're bringing additional resources in over the next few days. We have contractors out there doing it now. Enbridge is also doing air sampling under our direction. We have our brand new boat, the Mud Puppy 2, out on the lake. They're doing water samples. That's in addition to sampling that we're doing at fixed places along the lake. And we'll work with the resource agencies at the state level and the federal level, because there will certainly be damages that will take a long time for the system to heal itself. It will heal itself, and the majority of the oil will actually be addressed in weeks, not months, but it is a significant spill. There is significant oiling of vegetation and without doubt, there are impacts that are happening in the ecosystem right now. Once again, my pledge that we will continue to work as hard as we can and to oversee the efforts of the responsible party to ensure that they continue to do what they have been doing, which is take very seriously their need to address this aggressively and to be as responsively as possible. Now, we do have a community meeting coming up. It's tomorrow night. And where is it, Mark? Oh, might have to move it to Monday. Okay, all right. Well, we'll get that announcement out as we announce the meeting. But we'll have a series of community meetings over time, and we are working with the 2 counties that are currently involved, as well as downstream counties, to ensure that citizens have access to information. If you have any concerns, please contact us at the Unified Command Center.